Here we go, episode 8. We're back, and I am absolutely fucking buzzing. It's the Leeds Southampton game's just finished, and we've smashed the boys 3-0. So I'm over the moon. Let's get into the fixtures then, boys, from the week just gone. First in is actually me, because the first game that happened was the Leeds Wolves game, which, needless to say, I'm not going to go in too much depth over because I want to talk about tonight's instead.
I think we should really talk about the Wolves game, to be fair.
Yeah, just skip tonight's.
It was the first game that was on. You don't do it in that order.
I've got to go through the Wolves game first, so I'll go through that. First things first, I'm just going to slag Wolves off to fuck, because I don't think I've been in that much of a bad mood losing the game as I was watching that game, playing them. Like, I saw a brilliant quote on Twitter straight after the game where someone said they're just a piri Burnley. And it's fucking spot on. Because they're the biggest spoilers I've ever seen in the years I've been watching football. Oh my God, it frustrated the fuck out of me. Seriously, mate. I saw a stat after the game. There was 31 minutes left of the game when they scored their goal, which should be fucking disallowed anyway because it's cheating. Fucking kicking it off the bar on the back of our goalkeeper. That's bang out of order. I'm not having that.
Shouldn't be allowed.
There was 31 minutes left of the game after their goal, and the ball was in play for 12 and a half minutes of that.
What? Is that a real stat?
That's a real fucking stat. That's how much they spoiled. That's how much they were laying on the floor and fucking rolling about and moaning at the... There was one bit here where Neto was taking a corner and he was screaming at the referee for, like, Stuart Dallas encroaching and, like, coming too close for him to take the corner.
They're always in the ref, aren't they? Looking for... They're like Portugal B team, aren't they?
That's exactly it. And they're like Portugal, but with shit players. Like,
exactly, yeah.
And he's like, you know, the line with the 10-yard line from the corner, the little like dash on the touchline. Stuart Dallas is like behind that, and he's looking at the referee like as if to say, "What's this cunt moaning at?" And the ref actually went over and booked it. I think it was Neto. He booked Neto for like time wasting and moaning about it. And then Neto screamed at him as if he'd been. Like, you can hear it on the TV. It was embarrassing, mate. So embarrassing. And then
I think it's great tactics seeing the game out like that. Fantastic, Nuno.
Nah, it's fucking bullshit. They should be deducted points for that. I'm not impressed at all. But the other thing is, Connor Cody, if I'm Raul Jimenez, I'm fucking never speaking to him again in my life. Raul Jimenez has just fractured his fucking skull. Might never play the game again. You never know what shape he's gonna be in. Connor Cody heads a ball clear from a shot and goes down and lays on the floor for fucking 7 minutes, pretending his head's been caved in. Fucking ball at you in the forehead, mate. You're supposed to be a centre half. What's wrong with you?
Could have killed him.
Fucking, mate, like, what an embarrassment. That team have got to fucking go. I'm finished with Wolves. Piri Burnley. Not having them. But anyway, fuck them off. That game's finished. It don't matter.
Oh, blimey. You wouldn't have think you just won a game. Jesus.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to get that Wolves one out of my system because... As you can tell, it bugged me a little bit.
I was going to say, you're taking it well, Till. You're taking it well.
I did take it well. Mate, I'll tell you what.
Hours, yeah?
If we'd have lost tonight as well, fuck me. Like, you boys wouldn't have got a word in the whole podcast. I'd have had me rant for about an hour and a half and then just fucking turn it off.
Now Kyle knows how everyone else feels.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah, we fucked that one off and we move on to tonight's game, which, to be honest, I was a little bit worried about until I saw Southampton's lineup and they dropped Minamino and Ings, and I couldn't get my fucking head around that. Like,
what? So they were fit and they got dropped?
Yeah, put them on the bench.
Yeah, he came on the interview and he said they had a big game against Chelsea, so coming up against Leeds, whose running stats are unreal, he thought he'd go with fit players that didn't play, sort of thing.
Went well for him, didn't it?
That worked, didn't it?
Yeah, well done, fella.
Surely he sees as Leeds like an easier target to take points from than Chelsea at the weekend. Like,
exactly, obviously not, bruv.
Clearly not.
Yeah.
I just think if you're Danny Ings and you're that star man like that, you don't want to hear the words. Oh, I know we've had a big game against. He should be starting every game for them without fail. Like he's too big. He's too good for them in a way. I think personally, he could be at a better club.
Yeah,
Bigger, better club possibly. But yeah, I don't. That's
I
didn't see that he'd started him.
It's gone full circle because we went through a couple of seasons where Liverpool were raiding all of Southampton's best players, and now Southampton are raiding all Liverpool's best players. They've got Ings and Minamino. So fucking hell, Salah and Mane will be there next year and all.
Two games in, he's patting the fucking bag.
But yeah, I thought like as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Fuck me, I fancy this now." Like, who did they play instead of him? They played Teller and
tell him
someone else.
I haven't played that game for ages. Teller.
What's a game that is, by the way? But
June the 21st.
I was quite confident when I saw their lineup, and to be fair to Southampton, the first sort of half an hour, they were probably the better team. Like you were saying, like with the running and that of Leeds, they matched it and they pressed us high and they made it quite hard for us to get into the game. But they ran out of steam. They were reminiscent of a lot of teams we played in the Championship last season, where they'd try and match everything that we do, and they can do that for a certain period of the game and look all right and hold their own. But once they run out of gas, it was just one-way traffic. Like, they ran out of gas after about half an hour, and then at half-time they brought on Minamino and Ings, and then they made another substitution as well. But they were just chasing shadows, mate. They couldn't get after us then. We just took control. And once we sort of got ahead, like a lovely finish from Patrick Bamford, once we got ahead, that was it, really. Like, Rafinha just fucking schooled them for the whole of that second half. Like, well, before we started recording, Matty, I was saying to you about your mate Bedders. The commentator said he'll sleep well tonight. Like, Rafinha had him on toast, mate.
Poor guy's just been absolutely southern fried in the last 3 weeks.
He has, yeah. He's in trouble, I think.
He's definitely going to be at Arsenal next year. Honestly,
he'll be Arsenal's captain, mate.
Oh, mate.
But yeah,
Dave was a bit quiet tonight, though, wasn't he? Till
who was?
Dave was a bit quiet.
Who?
Dave. Jack Harrison.
Oh, Jack Harrison. Yeah. To be fair, when we took him off at half time, he was poor in the first half, and yeah, that was one of the good moves they made. They took him off at half time. They brought Helder Costa on, who, to be totally honest with you, a lot of Leeds fans, including myself, have sort of run out of patience with Costa. We've got to that stage where it's like, at the end of this season, we should really cash in, sell him back to a Championship club, get like 10 million or whatever, and reinvest it, because I don't think he's up to it. But he was a big part in the change of the guard in that second half. He was fucking brilliant in the second half. I tweeted during the second half to say he's put his name in the hat to make a start in the next game. The way he came on and put a shift in, like, he didn't just offer a lot. Oh Jesus, sorry. Anyone who's watching, I'm looking up at the Chelsea Atletico Madrid game, which is going at the moment, and Atletico Madrid nearly scored. But yeah, he really made a difference. Costa. He was running in behind, and they were in trouble. Like, Bertrand couldn't live with his pace, and he was causing him a lot of grief. And he put in a bit of a shift defensively as well. There was one occasion where they was on a break. I think it was Tello who was running in behind, and he was through, but Costa put the fucking burners on and got in front of him, and then he tripped Costa, and it broke it all down where they would have been clean through. And it was great sort of bit of effort from him. It's what we want to see. But yeah, I was really pleased with it, and it's a fucking massive win. Really takes us back into the top half above the Gooners. Go on, lads. So yeah, back down in at the bottom half you go, and yeah, we're buzzing, mate. I was fucking over the moon with it. What's your opinion on it, Jonesy? I don't know if you watch the game.
Yeah, I caught little bits of it, but I was just going to go back to the Helder Costa thing. Like, again, in probably the last 2-3 games, he's sort of coming back into the fold a bit. But do you think that's because he's a confident sort of player? Like, he scored a goal the other go. Or
he did, yeah. Couple of games ago he scored, yeah.
So do you think that's why he's sort of playing well? Because do you reckon it's just that, or what?
He is very much a confidence player, Costa. But yeah, it might well be that he sort of came on and had a decent performance, and that sort of filled him with a bit of confidence where he's sort of gone, yeah, I fancy this now, and he's like lit a bit of a flame under him. But
he looked all right when he come on against Arsenal.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he done all right in that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could well be, Carl, that he got his goal and it sort of kick-started him a bit, because at the start of the season, when the first sort of 5 or 6 games of the season, he was on fire. He got a couple of goals in the first few games, and you could be right. It could have given him that confidence to sort of like free himself up and express himself a bit. And he looked phenomenal. And then he just all of a sudden become shite again. Yeah. And he had quite a few games, and he's not played for quite a while up until a couple of games ago. But he looked back to his best tonight when he come on. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, like, on that, do you reckon because Rafinha's come in and done so well, obviously, like, you start off the season well. A lot of people like try, obviously, off of back of pre-season and they're buzzing, but then they can tail off because of someone's doing so well. And then obviously he's got him to contend with. He's got obviously Jack Harrison's pretty much a guaranteed start. He's got 2 people to contend with, isn't he?
He has, yeah. And to be honest, at one stage he found himself even further down the pecking order because Jan Poveda is a young kid that we've got, sort of overtook him as well. He's injured at the moment, Poveda, but he sort of stepped above him as well because Costa was performing so badly. And it was getting to the stage where he was like, he's going to be 4th, 5th choice if he don't buck up. But he seems to have maybe looked at himself, because he had a similar situation when he was at Wolves when they got promoted, and he played like quite a fair few of their first few games. I think he played about 20 odd games in that season from in the Prem. But after Christmas, he weren't as involved, and he sort of found himself 4th, 5th choice and having to go elsewhere. And he came to us on loan, and then we signed him. And I think he might have, to be honest, I thought he was going to be in his same position. I thought we was going to have outgrown him and he was going to have to leave in the summer. But if he performs from now to the end of the season, if he performs like he did tonight, there's no way he's going, because he's shown he can offer something, whether that be off the bench or as a starter. He's shown he's got something about him. But it surprised me, because I thought he was on cruise control just to cruise his way through to the summer and then find another club. But no, he did impress me tonight. I was really, really, really impressed with him. But yeah, so that's a big 3 points for us anyway, boys. And I don't know if you saw as well, Bielsa in his presser yesterday was pretty much hinting that he's going to stay at Leeds for quite a long while to come as well, which we're all buzzing about, because they asked him about, he must be sort of, there's quite a lot of clubs that would be possibly interested in you, and he virtually come out and said there's no other club that offers the project that I've got here, and I don't really want to go anywhere until my project's finished. He thinks it's a job that's not completed yet. I don't know what he looks at as a completed job, but he doesn't think he's completed his job with us yet. And he loves the city and he loves the club, and by all accounts, he wants to stay for quite a while. But from what I've heard, I think his wife's actually moved over from Argentina now and lives over here with him, which any club he's been at, it's never happened. His family have always lived in Argentina, so he must be content with being here.
He'll probably fuck off somewhere else now that his wife's turned up.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he'll be on his bike.
A bit of London,
As long as there's a decent steakhouse in Leeds, he might be all right, mate.
Oh, fuck me. Oh, there's plenty, mate. He likes a few gas around there. He likes the tea room as well in Harrogate he goes to. He's been photographed in there a few times.
Tel's got a GPS tracker.
Oh, fuck me. We all have, mate. We adore that, man.
Binoculars in his bedroom window.
If I fucking knew where he was, I would be, mate. Don't you worry about that. I'll be up in the tree looking for his
deliver that cake.
What's that, mate?
Trying to track him down to deliver that cake.
Yeah, oh, fuck me. Yeah, he'll be getting another one in a few weeks. He keeps on.
It was a wagon. It was a wagon wheel, not a cake.
Alhafores. Go on, Pat. You got something to say, mate?
You just talking about Bielsa, like hinting that he's going to stay and sort of sees himself like the future there. Obviously, this year aim was survival for you guys. What do you reckon it'd be realistically like next year, or like how long till do you reckon they would want to be pushing up and challenging for Europa or anything like that?
Well, they've sort of set their their model out was like a 3-year plan to become a top 6 side.
Right.
From getting promotion, they got 3 years to sort of try and set the foundations in place to try and become a top 6 side. That's why when you hear talks of all these clubs that would be interested in the likes of Rafinha and that, we ain't looking to do what the likes of, I don't know, like Leicester and Wolves and that have had players that have come through, made a bit of a name for themselves, and then they flog them on and try and replace. We're not looking to do that. We're looking to bring in your likes of Rafinha, especially if Bielsa's staying. The likes of Rafinha, he wants him to come in, and then in the summer he wants to bring in another sort of like attacking midfielder and another sort of central midfielder to strengthen that, and bring in players of the level of Rafinha, and gradually over the next sort of 3 seasons, gradually improve the whole squad. So we've got like 11 players that are of that caliber, and then all of a sudden you're in the mix. Do you know what I mean? And especially if you can keep your likes of Rafinha, he's on a long contract, and we've got no need to sell. We're pretty well off now, like being promoted back into the Premier League. We've got backing from the San Francisco 49ers as well. So we're pretty well off. I think the end goal is in the next sort of 3 years to be a top 6 side. But hopefully it happens. You just never know, do you? You don't know what happens off the field and that in these instances. But yeah, what do you reckon, Kyle?
I was just going to put back to the Bielsa thing. Do you not think that could just be a little smokescreen? That he might be waiting for Barca or something like that. I mean, he ain't going to come out and say,
"No way, no, I'm not even.
I want to leave," or what? Are you worried about that at all, or no?
Not remotely. Knowing what that guy's like, you say that he's not going to come out and say he would. He'd come straight out and be like, "I'm not happy. I'm going to leave." It's what he's done everywhere.
I don't think he's not happy. I just think the law of someone like Barca. I just think
he's not interested. Not interested.
Barcelona are skin.
But the thing with Bielsa's he's a football romantic, and he's got a list of sort of things that he wants from a football club, and a lot of what that is he wants to sort of take someone from. We were the perfect candidate for him because we've got a rich history, we've got a massive fan base, and we were massively underachieving from where our status should be as a football club. That ticks all of his boxes, because he wants to sort of take hold of a club and make them into what he thinks they should be or could be. The likes of Real Madrid have been in for him before. He doesn't even entertain talks of it, because when he first took over at Leeds, he does like a tour of the training ground, and he goes around and goes like, "I'm not happy with this. That fucking plug socket over there looks wrong. That should be moved 10 foot to the left." And not even joking, he does all shit like that. He's very particular with how things should be run. And the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, all these so-called top clubs, they wouldn't give him the control that we've given him.
Yeah.
It wouldn't happen. He had it at Lazio, yeah. Lazio are a massive club. He went there about, I don't know, 7 years ago or something like that. He saw they ticked all the boxes, like they're massively underachieving. He wanted to sort of bring them back to become an Italian giant. He quit after 1 day because he went in his first day. He basically had a list of discrepancies that he was like, "Right, I want you to do this. These players here aren't good enough. These ones are. The training ground needs changing. I need this doing, that doing." And they sort of were mulling over. And they was like, "Oh, I don't know about that. We can maybe sort this one out, and then we'll like revisit them other points in a few months' time." And he's like, "No, you told me you would follow everything that I fucking want. Are you going to sort these now or not?" And they were like, "Well, no, not yet." And he went, "All right, bye then.
Move that fucking plug socket. I don't want it there."
And yeah, and they were like, "Well, what do you mean? Like, bye? we've only just signed." And he basically said to him, "Rip the contract up. I don't want paying off. You don't have to pay me a penny. I'm gone." And he fucking got on his plane back to Argentina, and they never saw him again. He's a very sort of autistic in a way in his fucking, like, the things. He's very particular. Things have to be set in a certain way. If he's not happy with it, he's gone. And that's why we've been brilliant. Like, our owners they knew all about him, and they know a lot of his history, and they're fans of him. And they've basically just bent over backwards. They said, whatever he fucking says, we follow. And they've continued to do so, even in the Premier League. There were Leeds fans that were worried that once we got to the Premier League, they might not sort of do it as much. They might sort of get ideas above their station and then go, oh, he's getting a bit out of his box. Let's jog him on and bring in someone who's sort of going to do as they're told a bit more. But they've continued to just fucking let him do his thing, and it will pay off if we keep him for the next 3 seasons. I think we will be a top 16. People might laugh at that. But I think with that man in charge, and the board backing him, and if we're signing the players that we're going to be looking at, like Rafinha, I don't see anything that's going to hold us back. Apparently, Bielsa's got a list of 11 players, on like his dream 11 as to what he would like as his end team at Leeds United. And Rafinha was one of them that was on that list. And then they've got like sub-headers underneath that as players that they'd like, as if like, for example, Mbappe might be number 9 and he might go, that's not an option. The one underneath him is such and such. And then they go from that. And Rafinha become available. No, but do you know what I mean? I'm just like, it's like hypothetical. But then Rafinha became available. They never thought they'd be able to get him. He became available for a lot cheaper than they thought, and they went for it. And like they actually spent that money when we weren't even planning on buying another player. But because it was a possibility, they went and got him. And they've got a few lined up that are in a similar way. And I'm happy for the future. The main that win tonight pretty much secures our safety. So anything else now is a fucking bonus. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we can have a free run at it now.
Wouldn't worry about Barca. I think they got their eyes on Ollie, to be honest, Carl.
Ollie's at the wheel, mate. But
leave him alone.
But yeah, we'll bring that to an end anyway, boys. I'm fucking over the moon, Guinness in hand. So yeah, I'm fucking buzzing with that. The next game we were going to talk about was we're going to follow on from the Leeds Southampton game and go into Southampton Chelsea, but Ben and Hoppers have been selfish cunts and are watching Atletico Madrid Chelsea, which I'm sure that they will regret because Atletico will do a job on them. But yeah, without them two here, I'm not going to fucking talk about Chelsea, and I don't think any of you boys will want to either.
Can I?
To be fair, you might want to because the next game's the Merseyside derby, so I don't know if you want to delay it or.
I don't know. Well, the Hudson-Odoi thing was a bit funny. I don't know if anyone wants to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, touch on that then. Yeah, go on, Jonesy.
Yeah. But no, I don't know. It was a question I sort of had for the Chelsea boys. I mean, I didn't watch the game. It's only what I've seen. I see it floating about on Twitter and things like that. I just don't get it. Like, I mean,
and he's starting tonight as well.
Did anyone watch the game or no? I take it no one even watched it.
I saw bits of it, but I wasn't paying enough attention to.
I mean, was he that bad? I mean, I just haven't seen it.
From what I've heard,
I think it was more he was a bit lazy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
One at a time, but go on, Pat. You go, mate.
I think it was more he just, when just a player looks like he ain't interested and just not really bothered about it. And I think old Tuchel or whatever his name is, noticed that and obviously wants to probably set a standard, doesn't he? Of he ain't going to stand for that, and if he lets the player get whatever he does.
Yeah, and by all accounts, in that half an hour, he made more sprints than any other player on the Chelsea team.
Oh, really?
So, I don't know. Like I didn't see it, so I'm not too sure. Matty, what was you going to say, mate?
Well, I was just going to say that I didn't watch the game, but I just read in the media that he subbed him off after 20 minutes, similar to what Carl was saying. Looked disinterested, wasn't showing the right energy levels. Looked like his mind was kind of elsewhere, but like they've started him here in this game. How can that make any sense? If you've been hauled off after coming on as a sub at half time, surely you can't be starting a Champions League last 16 tie against opposition that are like much better. That don't make no sense.
Yeah, it's a strange one.
And he done it publicly as well. He outed him. Like,
yeah,
it's not
exactly.
Been private. Everyone knows about it, and it just seems like an odd thing to do. But apparently, the player's happy with it. Took it on the chin, and they've moved on.
Well, he's on a fucking fortune. I bet he is happy with it.
Oh yeah, it's weird.
What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, no, it was from what I've heard, mate. It was just he wasn't doing it like attacking wise, as you say. He made the most sprints in that. It was more the defensive side apparently that he wasn't happy with, and apparently he's done it before. Obviously, we don't get loads of coverage of obviously the French football and everything unless you're really interested, but apparently he's done it before to a couple of people when he's not shy about outing them either, and it's obviously what he does and tries to get reactions. And again, he started him tonight, so he's obviously hoping for a reaction. And if Hudson-Odoi don't buy into it, obviously he's a young player. He's on a bumper contract now, and he's probably going to outlast Tuchel. But if he don't do what he says, he ain't going to play. So
I was gonna say, you mentioned it. I was gonna say, do you reckon by starting him tonight, he's looking for that reaction then?
Oh, 100%.
Like it's a bit of a test. But the other problem is you've got the likes of Bayern Munich that are sniffing around him. If you're him, do you sort of, there's things like that sort of turn your head and you go, you know what, I don't need this. You've got the likes of Bayern interested.
Depends what sort of professional you are, innit? There's some people that would ruin, but then there's obviously some that, you know, got to take that on the chin. That's what he wants. He's coming in. You've got to buy into his philosophy, ain't you?
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah. Or you can just call him a cunt and hand in the transfer request.
Or that, but it's one of them. If you don't do what he wants, you ain't going to play, is it? It's like obviously Bielsa, you know what I mean? If you don't do what he says, you ain't going to play. A bit like any manager, really. Let's face it.
Yeah, the difference is at Chelsea, they probably know if you just sit on your fucking hands for 6 months, that cunt will be out the door anyways. It won't matter.
Yeah. I mean, thing is with Hudson-Odoi, he obviously signed a new contract just before he got injured, didn't he? So, you know, he's got quite a while to run. Plus, they're going to have to pay up whoever wants him, if that is the case. But,
so he's a strange one. But that's enough about Chelsea anyway. None of us fucking like him, so that's enough about them.
We don't care anyway.
Yeah. Up for Carl.
Do you want to? Did you want to skip this next one as well, Greg? The Merseyside derby, or
no, not at all, mate. Let's talk.
I'm quite happy to talk about it. To be fair,
I'm happy. I'm happy to talk about it.
Well, get us going then, mate. You boys obviously lost for the first time in quite a while against Everton at Anfield.
Yeah.
2-0 loss. What's your thoughts on it, mate?
It's one of them, isn't it? We're in a run. It's horrible, isn't it? But it's just the start. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's 3 minutes in like the biggest game, so to speak. Obviously, it's one of the biggest games of the season for us anyway. But it's like the biggest game in this sort of run that we're in as well. Like we needed to have a reaction, and 3 minutes in, I don't know. It's poor play, really. I watched it back a little bit earlier as well, and Thiago's trying a dinky little header in the middle of the pitch, and then he gets caught ball watching. It weren't just him. Wijnaldum, I think, got caught ball watching a little bit as well. Once he tried that dinky little header, they then popped it into James, who was just standing by himself, and then he plays a little slide raw ball, and Kabach caught on his heels, and Richarlison finished. And it's 3 minutes in. It's like game plan out the window. All their heads went like down a little bit, but we still weren't good enough. Again, it's just not good enough. The movement, it's just I can't put my finger on what's going on, but it's just not great.
We'll pass it sort of around the boys because I'm sure we've all sort of got questions about it.
Oh yeah, there's still more to talk about. 100%.
Of course, yeah.
This is it,
I'll come to Matty, but before I do, I just want to sort of put out there to everyone that's now four losses on the bounce for Liverpool. In them 4 games, they've only scored 2 goals and they've conceded 10, which is mental considering where they've come from. But we'll come to you, Matty, not you, Carl. Pipe down for a bit. We'll come to you, Matty. Opinions on it, mate?
Yeah, just a question for Greg. Just like generally talking amongst friends, like a lot of people that I know back to Everton to win that game. Now, if I was a betting man, which I used to be, I would have never ever have touched Everton, even if Liverpool were on poor form. For home defeats, the first time since 1923, I believe.
Yeah.
But do you think? I had a question for you. Do you think Klopp's taken Liverpool as far as they can go under him?
No. Listen, it's
no, that's a genuine question. You've won the league. He's won the league. He's won the Champions League.
Yeah.
And obviously, you've massively fallen down this year. I'm not having it. It's all to do with Virgil van Dijk because that's bollocks.
Yeah, but it's not just one person, is it?
Your game is more than your game is more than one centre back. But like Liverpool are crumbling at an alarming rate. Like
yeah,
how do you
so's
think
our
that you turn it
players
around?
though?
Huh?
So's our players. We're obviously not being able to play the same game without
certain players,
without certain players. And I mean, obviously missing, keep saying it, Van Dijk is massive. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But it's not just him, but there's whoever's missing, like your Fabinho's, your Henderson out of midfield. It's not allowing certain people to go and do what they need to do.
Yeah.
It's
the shuffle that it's causing is just too much.
Oh, and the people that are coming in are just not. They're obviously not up. They can't keep up the same standard as what that team did.
Yeah.
That team is obviously so special, and once you start moving one or two, it's not there. And even the argument is we've still got the front three, and that's right. We still have got that front three, and they're not scoring goals and whatnot. But I firmly believe that comes from behind. There's no midfield runners that's even going beyond them. It's just like they're coming deep.
In Liverpool, in fairness to yourselves, you've had a horrendous run of injuries. Not even just at centre back. You've had key midfielders out. Now Henderson looks like he's out.
Yeah, he might have to have an operation. Yeah.
I mean, do you think Liverpool will make the top four this year?
No.
I can't. The way it's going, I mean, how many games are left? 13.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough, I think.
The silly thing is, we're still there or thereabouts.
Only 3 points off. No, sorry, 5 points off top four.
We are, but then the run we're on, the players that we're missing, it's massive. Do you know what I mean? And yes, we've got a couple of games coming up that you should say are bankers.
Who have you got next in the league?
Sheffield United.
It's a relegation battle, isn't it?
I mean, stranger things about. Yeah, I can't. I mean, they've got nothing to play for.
But then obviously we've got Fulham and Chelsea as well. Fulham are on they've turned the corner.
Yeah, Fulham are playing very well at the moment.
So there's nothing, and with the team we've got, I wouldn't say there is any bankers. So
I don't think there is any bankers in the Prem anymore.
No, there ain't.
Not this year.
You've got certain teams that are on a good run of form, like West Ham. Like you'd have if. Whoever West Ham are playing at the minute, they're going to give them a game.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, as far as other teams are concerned, from like maybe the top four down, we can all beat each other. It's just a question of who turns up on a day.
Yeah.
At the moment.
The thing I'm sorry to butt in, boys. The thing I wanted to ask you, Greg, is like them next 3 games at Sheffield United, Chelsea and Fulham. If you don't come out of them with at least 6 points, penciling in the Sheffield United and Fulham games as 6 points.
I'll say 7. We need 7. 100%.
But that's what I mean. If you don't with at least 6, is Klopp in trouble?
No, I don't think he's in trouble personally. Like everyone knows the situation.
If you lose to Sheffield United,
nah,
that'd be 5 losses on the bounce. These are American owners, mate. They ain't got no tie to Liverpool as a club or the personal thing with Klopp. They're businessmen.
Yeah, maybe so, but I personally, I don't think he's in trouble. He's got, it is what it is at the minute.
Hardew's available.
I say, they maybe are. They're fuck off. They're partly to blame, I personally think, anyway, for not delving into their pockets a bit more. How can you win the Champions League and then win the league and only get Jota? You know what I mean? And
he was unlucky there as well because he come in and he's hit the ground running and then got injured, didn't he?
But like going back to obviously Scum, like every year, whether they won the league or not, they strengthened with a marquee signing. Do you know what I mean? And
proper club. That's why.
Yeah, were.
Yeah, you have been. You have been for the last 7 years, haven't you? But
that's your one Premier League getting on. You're fucking singing one Premier League. Fucking hell.
Oh God.
Even Blackburn have won that money.
Are you happy? Are you happy you're in second? Or?
Giggsy won it more times in his 30s than you've ever won it as a club.
Oh,
wow.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Wow.
Back to the game anyway. But they no, I don't think he's in trouble. I don't think so. It's obviously a silly run, and
I think in modern football, though, you've got to think he is in a bit of trouble.
That's what makes me think. Yeah.
5 games in a row. If you lose, I mean, come on. He's in trouble. I'm telling you.
Surely you've got to look at the team and that he's got. He's down to literally bare bones, like squad.
The problem with it is, do some of these owners look at it like that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How do they look at it?
Especially, they're not football people. Even it's not even that they're football people.
It's a business.
Yeah,
it's a business.
Well, it is. I think he's got enough in the bank.
Anyway, Pat, what do you reckon? While you are asked this, I'm just going to run and grab second Guinness. So crack on.
Yeah, just touching on what you said a second ago, Greg, about they should have gone out and bought a marquee signing. Wasn't there rumours of sort of they were trying to keep the purse strings tight last year so they could go and splash big money on like a big name this summer?
Obviously, potentially, I've heard that there are talks still of obviously having quite a bit of money, but it's the squad's been together for 3 years now, and only getting in like Jota and who else did we bring in? Simicast.
Well, you brought in Minamino, didn't you? But he's gone.
Yeah, he's on loan. He's doing all right on loan.
Scoring goals, yeah.
Yeah, but it's that squad's been together for quite a while, and it's now told that all right, no one could have foreseen that these injuries were coming, but it's now racked up the injury list and it's down to bare bones, and the players just ain't good enough, mate. Some of the players, that are coming in, they're just not good enough, and it's you're down to what three centre backs now that are 2 of them are new, only been there a month, and one that's been there or thereabouts for a little while and only just started playing like this year. So defensively, we're still fucked. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's still affecting the whole team. As it like what I was saying before, the movement in midfield, it might be good deeper in the pitch, but none of them are getting forward. That means the front 3 are dropping deep. They're getting the ball feet. There's nothing in behind. We're not hurting teams. All we're doing is playing in front of teams, and they're just sitting in and playing the block, and it's too easy. And to be honest, we got bullied the other day. We did. And it's silly to say, obviously, you know what I mean, being Premier League champions and that, but I just got to look at it and think it would have been totally different. We might not have won it again, but it would have been totally different if we could have had the whole squad.
Yeah, it definitely would have been more of a challenge, at least, wouldn't it?
That's all. Yeah, that's all we can sort of hope, that once we get everyone back, the levels will go straight back up. But that's obviously going to be next year. So top 4, I think is highly unlikely, but there's always hope. We could turn it around and win all of our games, but highly unlikely.
Yeah. Dave?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the only positive really that come out of that game for you is the ref looked at the VAR screen too quickly and you got away with Trent not being sent off. I mean,
100%.
Initially, I was thinking
I was screaming.
I thought it was well harsh. But then when you look at it a bit longer, you see him hook his foot up, and you realise he got away with it there.
I personally think his foot come off the ground because he got kneed in the head.
He's concussed.
No, but like I was sort of having this argument. Like Alisson's made a great save. Trent's already gone to block the shot. He's on the floor. He doesn't know where Calvert-Lewin is. Calvert-Lewin sees it all unfolding and actually runs into him.
Yeah. But then any chance he had of keeping
Fair enough. Listen,
lifts his foot, doesn't he?
Quite clever play by Calvert-Lewin, if I'm being honest.
It is. At the end of the day, it is. He's the forward. He's the one that's probably going to tap the ball in. But then if the referee goes over, gives the penalty, he has to send him off. He's not a goalkeeper. The double jeopardy comes into play.
Yeah. I mean, it's just mad how
should have been sent off
like that. So they look at so quick that they need to keep looking at it. So quick. And other things, like we'll probably talk about it later, but like the Lingard goal, the West Ham goal, was so onside, and they're looking at it for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Strange.
It's silly, mate. The officials are they've got the voice in their ear. They've got their own mind. They've got the the screen that they're going to look at, they don't know what's going on, mate.
Wait until the fans come back in and the fans are screaming at him. It's another.
Mate.
It's going to make it even crazier.
Go on, we'll see what to chime in on. Go on.
Now, back on that thing. Like, I want to get Greg's reaction to it, and obviously what other people, you boys, are thinking as well. It's not a penalty for me, right? But it had to be given because although he's not meant to, he has stopped Calvert-Lewin from scoring a tap-in. So it is a fine line. It is a sticky one.
How has
because
he?
Because he has. Like Paul said, he's a bit clever.
Yeah, but if Trent's facing, so he's gone to block the shot, and Trent is now facing like where the crowd would be. He can't see Calvert-Lewin behind him. So how is he purposely...
I don't think Calvert-Lewin was behind him. I think it was all too close.
You need him in the back of the head. How is he not behind him? He need him in the back of the head.
It was too quick. As he slid in, it all happened so quickly. I think. I just don't think it wouldn't have been fair to say sorry, Calvert-Lewin. He was in your way. I know he hasn't gone through. The same thing happened with Louise and then red cards back earlier in the season. You know, he's tried to pull away. He got a red card. So
listen. So personally, I don't think it's a penalty. But whoever that attacking team is, whether it would have been Everton, whether it had been Liverpool at the other end, whether it had been Man United in another game, whoever that attacking team is, it's a penalty.
You want a penalty for that? I think you do. Although it's a soft one, it's a bit of a sticky one. So
I'm personally saying it's not a penalty, but it's been given, and whoever that attacking team is, whether it would have been Everton or whoever one of us, if that was our attacking team,
not West Ham. West Ham when I got it.
You want a penalty because it's
Jonesy. Your cunts would have got it if you was the defending team.
Yeah.
Back up the other end, guys. Penalty, Stretford end.
But going back to Dave's point,
fucking
the penalty's been given, so the referee has to send him off.
Yeah.
And he even went to the monitor. So how does he not?
That's what I mean. Some games they give it, some games they don't. It's either all or nothing.
How have they come to that conclusion where it was just a penalty? He stopped the goal scoring opportunity.
It's true. Over to you, Spears. You're someone who sort of suffered with the David Luiz decision with the exact same rule. What's your thoughts, mate?
Actually, I didn't want to talk about the penalty thing. I wanted to go back on what Greg was saying about having some money to spend. Do you think it's time that we stop pretending Klopp's some genius playing Firmino as like a central floating striker and actually get someone who can actually score some goals? Because Firmino is just not doing it, is he? Pretending he's a striker when he's not. Can't you drop him back into midfield and suffer and sort some of those?
Listen, I've kind of.
You sound broken, by the way, mate.
I've kind of come to the end with Firmino, mate. To be perfectly honest, like, how can you be called a striker and don't score goals? And he doesn't even look like he can, even from outside the box when he strikes the ball and that. He's got nothing. And you've got Mane coming out and praising him, saying that he should get more praise than him and Salah. And I'm like, what are you on, geez? Like, really? Yes, his link-up play can be fucking amazing at times. I talked about it, the Leicester game. That assist, unreal. But then he fucked up and gave them the opportunity to score. He's
that sort of player that when it's not going well, a bit like Ozil.
He's become a liability.
Career, they're the player that always gets a stick, and when it's not going your way, it's easy to point at him. But
if Jota's fit, he ain't playing 100%.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true. Yeah.
And then potentially what you're saying with the money, he could be like not out of the club, but he's like one where we could go and strengthen in that position, and his position is under threat massively, I would say.
Struggers, over to you, mate.
Yeah, just on the penalty quickly. In an ideal world, that's never a penalty, is it? I mean, all of us are going to agree. That's on a Sunday morning, and someone goes, and the ref gives that. So he's getting beaten up, isn't he?
Yeah, big time.
There's no way that's a penalty. But the problem is with the rules now, it is, isn't it? The ref didn't. The ref didn't have a choice to give it. But
he could have gave a foul for a knee in the head.
Yeah, but
No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
No, look, as I said, the attacking team, whoever that is, you're looking at a penalty there.
Yeah, I just think it's the rules that are all wrong for me, and how the refs are interpreting them. I don't think they know what's going on half the time. But anyway, we spoke about the penalty. I just wanted to ask you, like, obviously, transfer-wise, forward, the number 9 is probably high on the list. But where else do you reckon you need to buy to get back to where you were? I'd imagine another centre half, maybe a centre mid.
Well, it's hard really, because if Gomez is going to his injury like history ain't great.
He's had a lot of injuries, mate.
So it's like, if he's persistently going to be the new Matip of keep getting injured, we do need another centre back. And then you're looking at maybe Wijnaldum going, so he's hard to replace. So who do you go and replace him with? Yes, we have got young players, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, but they're not ready. Like, Curtis Jones is maybe ready, but I would still say of more of a supporting role, like maybe, you know, not a starter, not a guarantee. He's only playing so many games now because he's got so much promise and he is doing very well, but also because a lot of people are injured, that he's actually getting a lot of game time. So mainly, I would say be replacing Wijnaldum, getting a striker that can actually be a vocal point and score goals to take the burden off of Mane and Salah, and a centre-back. Yeah, so you're looking at like 3 big signings that are down the spine.
The players you need, that's going to cost an absolute fortune, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah.
The players that Liverpool would want to bring in for those positions.
And with FFP, I mean, like what Pat said, I have heard that they have kept money back sort of to do what they did before with the Allison and Van Dijk sort of situation, where they go and just buy big. But it's, as you say, it's maybe three players. And if you're trying to spend big like that, you're looking at maybe FFP then.
On the back of that, Strug, like when you was on the stoop on the weekend after the game, obviously me and Kyle trolled the fuck out of you in the comments while you was on there.
Oh yeah.
But I did put one on there, and even though it was to like rile you up, it was a genuine point, which was, if you don't finish in the top 6, you're going to need to sign a hell of a lot more, because you ain't keeping Salah, you ain't keeping Mane. They ain't sticking about for a team that ain't in Europe, regardless of what you've achieved. It's not happening. And
I don't know.
The problem, maybe, like, I suppose Van Dijk will probably stay purely because the money you've put into him, someone would have to pay astronomical money to get him, and no one would be able to do that. But when you look at the fact that these guys, there's been rumours that they might be going anyway.
Yeah.
Even if you was to be challenging and winning things, what's keeping them at Liverpool if they don't get in Europe? Because it's not like they're going to go, oh, maybe if I stay about, I might get another Premier League or Champions League.
It's not like they haven't won.
They've already done that at the club.
Yeah.
So they might, do you know what I mean? And the other problem is this sort of young generation of your Harvey Elliott's, your Curtis Joneses that are coming through, that they're talented boys.
Too young.
They could be sort of victims of the circumstance in the fact that they're going to be thrown in because of these, say Salah, Mane, people like that are gone. Wijnaldum. You ain't attracting the names that you were linked with, your Haalands and Mbappes and that. They ain't coming to you if you ain't in Europe. If you ain't in the Champions League, they ain't coming to you. So it's going to be very hard for you to sort of,
good point,
like, regain your status as one of the powerhouses alongside City if you don't finish in the top 4, let alone top 6.
Well, before you know it, you're Arsenal.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, it's very similar to when we slipped out. It's so much harder to get those players, and as you've seen, it's been a slow.
Yeah, but we were having to sell one of our best assets every season for fucking 5 or 6 seasons, and we still were finishing in the top 4. We were letting players go. We was fucking City's feeder club for about 3 years. Yeah, take Sagna, take Clichy, take fucking Colo. Yeah,
Adebayor.
Take a few more. Fuck it.
No, it could be a slippery slope. You just
join the club.
Well, if there's ever a word of warning, mate, when we missed out on Europe, that was our downfall. Within 4 seasons after that, we was in League One. So enjoy that one.
That's truly.
I'd love to see it.
Well, at least I'll be able to go to a game.
Right, it was still hard to go to Ellen Road. We were still selling the cunt out.
Wow.
But yeah, we'll finish that off anyway, Greg. I'll let you sort of cry into your cup of tea.
I will, mate. I will.
And we'll move on to the next one. And we've got a very happy Hammer there in the middle of the screen.
Definitely,
Mr.
mate.
Shrug, and a lovely 2-0 win over the Yiddos. What's your thoughts, pal?
2-1.
Well, I wish it was 2-0, but it's 2-1, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry, 2-1, yeah.
I did get one back. No, it was a good win. Obviously, I'm well happy with that. I mean, weren't the best performance from us, but we've done enough to win it. I mean, started off really well, put a bit of pressure on him. I think Bowen put the ball in, and yeah, we were speaking about keepers a lot on here recently and fucking up. And we haven't mentioned Loris, but he's doing it every week at the moment, isn't he? Done it again. Should have saved that. I mean, it was their defenders as well. Eric Dyer. I mean, he's awful. If he's anywhere near the England squad for the Euros, I'm switching off. I ain't watching.
That's what scares me. I think he will be.
Yeah, but he's one of Southgate's bum boys, isn't he?
Fucking dreadful, Dyer.
He is toilet. I've said it for years.
First names on the team sheet. Him and Mount.
I think he's been shit for years and years. And for some reason, every Tottenham manager seems to pick him. Southgate seems to pick him. I don't see it. At all. And he showed it again on Sunday. Even he was awful again. And luckily for us, he missed it, and Loris couldn't keep hold of it. And Antonio scored, and we're glad we had him back as well. To be fair, because he's always been a bit of a pain for Tottenham. I think
he always scores against them, doesn't he?
Yeah, he loves it, doesn't he?
Was that goal he scored a couple of seasons ago against them that someone chipped it over and he hit it on the volley? Was that against Tottenham?
Yeah, I think so.
Down the right wing, and he sort of dinked it over and he whacked it top bins.
Yeah, and he's the first away player to score at their new ground as well. I think Antonio.
Yeah. Oh, right, fair play.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, no, he's a bit of a thorn in their side, really. But I mean, the rest of the first half, it was pretty even. Nothing really happened that I can remember anyway. Second half starts, and obviously Lingard scores 2-0 up, but then VAR decides to get involved, and we're watching replays of it for 10 minutes. I still now I can't work out what the fuck they were looking at, because he's onside. 4 nails can't be in. Yeah, if they're looking at 4 nails, he's not interfering. He ain't touched the ball, and regardless, it's come off the Tottenham defender's knee.
Defender, yeah.
So I don't know why they had to watch it for 10 minutes to work that out. I was confident that they'd give the goal, but the longer it goes on, the more you're thinking, what have they seen that I ain't? And they're going to find a way to rule it out. Luckily, they didn't. Went 2-0 up. And then I think Bale came on for them after that. And I think he had quite a good game.
Yeah, he played all right.
Yeah, he did come on at half time, actually.
He was their best player.
Yeah, I think they looked a lot better with him on the pitch. And it's probably the best game he's had for him. Not that I watch him every week, but I pretty shit.
You'd be a bit of a pervert, wouldn't you, Strug?
Massive, yeah.
You're a member of a golf club.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I think they looked all right when he played quite well. They just couldn't. We rode our luck in that second half, to be fair. But yeah, that because Bale hit the bar, Son I think hit the post. But fuck them, I think we're top of the league for teams that have hit the post and the bar this season. So we're due a bit of luck when it comes to that.
Rice's clearance was unreal as well.
Yeah,
brilliant.
That was unbelievable, wasn't it? How he's three of them are through on goal, and you see the image of it where they're all like approaching the penalty area. He's like 2 yards behind, and somehow he gets in front of their players and manages to clear it. He had another brilliant game. Souček was brilliant as well. Not really much else to say. I mean, we rode our luck a bit in the second half, but fuck it, I'll take that. Don't really bother me. Happy with it. Well, happy with it. Move on, 4th in the league, and
lovely win, mate.
See how that goes.
Kyle.
Yeah, no, just touching on Declan Rice there. Like obviously, this season, like we've spoke about it before, and he's for me, he's just getting better and better, and he's turning me on massively lately. He really is. But realistically, like if he does, how much do you reckon he's worth? how much we realistically, and not this 80 million. I mean, well, if you think he is, but
No,
realistically, if he's going to go, how much do you reckon he's worth?
Well, how long's he got on his contract, Stro?
Years, I think, years.
And how much did you pay for Slabhead?
Exactly. So you're saying 80 million. I'm saying 100 million. You're saying it might not be worth that to you, but to West Ham, he's worth 100 million.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think that's the thing where people put price tags on players' heads, and like I say, 100 million for Rice, you're like, fuck off. But he's worth that to us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's what I'd ask for him. I mean,
he's your skipper now.
If 80 million comes in, he's probably going, to be fair. But is anyone going to pay?
I just think he can get better as well. I don't think this is the end for him. I think he's easily got a couple of levels. I feel like he could go even more.
Saying that though, Jonesy, I think the best thing for him is staying at West Ham. You've seen
if they carry on like this, yeah,
over and over again. These players that end up starting to form a fucking good career under them. You think, yeah, he's going to be unbelievable, and then they end up jumping ship and going to a Man City, a fucking Liverpool, a Man United, a Chelsea, any of these sort of clubs, and they very rarely amount to what they could have. I think the best thing for Declan Rice is stay at West Ham.
Well, Wilf is a
prime example.
Had to go back to where he started to be that big fish again, because he obviously just likes, and it's his thing. That's his home club. He's the big fish.
Yeah.
The thing is, he's captain now at West Ham. He's one of the first names on the team sheet, it seems, for England at the moment. He's only getting better. We're fourth in the league now. Chelsea was sniffing around him, weren't they? We're above them. So, I mean, I don't know if we're going to be above them at the end of the season, but there ain't a big gap there anymore. From what Chelsea used to be and where we were last season. And I've seen him every season for the last 4 years or however long he's been in the team. And I was up at Burnley. It was the last game of the season years ago when he got his debut. And he come on, and like we didn't know who he was. And he only got about 5 minutes, but he looked brilliant. And every season he's just getting better and better and better. And like where he is now, I think he's one of the best DMs in the league. He's got to be.
Oh, he is, yeah.
Yeah.
His drumming skills need a bit of work, though, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Looked like he was milking a cow, didn't
he? On Moyes' home.
Spearsy, over to you, mate.
Just wanted to speak about Mourinho. Just wonder how long he's got left, because I mean, this time it takes for the clubs that he's manager of to implode is just getting shorter and shorter. And I mean, how long was it? Man United, 3 years at Man United. What, a year and a half now at Tottenham, and it's.
Let him stay there. Just let him fucking stay there forever.
Happy for that time. Yeah, it's all gone tits up already. But I think his next job's got to be international football, where he only sees the players every 2 months, 3 months, and he can't piss them off.
I don't understand why he hasn't done that earlier. Why when he left, when Man United that ended, why didn't he just fuck off and manage Portugal and let it be done?
Yeah, because he's not suited. I don't think his style's suited anymore to managing every week.
He slaughtered Wenger for a similar thing, staying at Arsenal, said he won't win nothing, career was going downhill. But what's he done for the last 4 or 5 years? Exactly the same thing. So
the irony on that point, Matty, is the game sort of had developed a bit, and Wenger's style was a bit outdated, and the Mourinho style of football was sort of the anti-Wenger.
Yeah.
It's gone full circle now. Wenger's sort of free-flowing style would be perfect nowadays. The way the game is played,
playing from the back and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like it's gone full circle. And like you said about Mourinho, just looking at the stats here I've pulled up, they've lost 6 out of their last 7 games, and their only win in them games was West Brom.
Yeah.
I think he's lucky that Liverpool have been in the form they're in, because they're sort of taking the limelight away from how bad Tottenham have been. Everyone's talking about Liverpool. They're sort of slipping under the radar with how terrible they've been.
And the thing is, their next 3 games, they've got Burnley, Fulham and Palace. If they don't come out of that with 7 points at least, I think he's gone.
Yeah, he could be.
He's gone. Even if they lose their next one, if they lose to Burnley, bye-bye Mourinho. See you later, sunshine.
You think they're going to pay him out?
Tottenham to win, so he sticks around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah, fucking win it. Do you know what I mean?
Runs him into the ground, yeah.
Make the suffering last longer, yeah.
Do you think Tottenham would pay him out, though, to get rid of him?
I don't know. He's a tight cunt, Levy, isn't he?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And the thing is, though, in the media today, they've come out with the Leipzig manager as potential to be Tottenham's next manager.
Brendan Rodgers was mentioned before that, a couple of days before that as well.
But why would he leave Leicester for them?
Why would you leave Leicester?
Brendan Rodgers, are you really going from Leicester to Spurs?
No.
I'd say Leicester's the better project, much better.
The only draw that Tottenham...
Leicester can only get better, in my
Leicester
opinion.
have recently won the Premier League. When did Tottenham last win anything?
The only draw that they've got is a £1 billion stadium that they don't need.
And how long is it going to take for them to pay that back? Because it took us years to pay back the Emirates, years and years, and that's 400 million more.
Like you said, selling your best players for 8 years straight. That's what pays for it. You know what I mean?
And before we come to you, Strub, the other thing, like it's the same point as I said to you, Greg, in regards to Liverpool. Tottenham don't finish in the top 6.
They're fucked.
Bye Harry Kane. Bye Son.
Yeah.
Like so many of their players are jumping ship, and it's see you later time.
Will be gone as
they will be bare bones, and before you know it, they're mid-table mediocrity again.
Because Kane, with his sort of injury record, he's probably only got one big contract left in him because he ain't going to play till he's like 35, 36, is he, with the injuries he has?
No, he's not.
So he's got to be looking for that move, I think, now.
He's got proper biscuit ankles, isn't
he? If he doesn't move this summer, I don't think the move's ever happening for him.
Well, isn't there talks of him linking back up with Poch at PSG?
Yeah.
You really see him at PSG?
I don't see him at PSG. I think he'd stay in England for me. I think he'd go to United.
Go to Man United, personally. That's where I would go.
Mate, the cunt can't even speak English. How's he going to learn French? Yeah,
well, you know, obviously, I got football of the week.
Thank you.
Fucking.
Let's go.
He's got no chance, has he?
Nah.
Let's go.
Let's go. Struggles over to you now, mate.
Yeah, just going back to Mourinho, I don't see him getting sacked there. Not till the end of the season, because I think Levy wanted him in, didn't he? He was his main man, and I think that's his little project. So until they've seen how they've got on in the Europa League, they still got that. They're still in that, and they've got the League Cup final. I think if he wins one of them, he's not going to. But
who's the final?
I think they're going to.
The final against City.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He ain't going to win that. They ain't going to win the Europa League either. But I think as long as they're in those competitions, they got a chance to win the fucking cup. He's going to keep hold of him, but he's not going to go anywhere till the end of the season. But I just wanted to say, the football West Ham are playing at the moment with Moyes is the football I think Mourinho wants to be playing, or Mourinho should be playing, that counter-attacking football.
Yeah, no, it's true, mate. Like you are right in the terms of the sort of the League Cup final might be his buffer to keep him in the job. I think they might be banking on winning that, because if they do win it, it's going to be a successful season, even if they finish fucking 14th, because they don't win trophies. Like,
they're not going to this season, are they?
The serial trophy winner, even if it's a League Cup, but. Mate, his best option is going for the Europa, 100%. At the end of the day, City are in too good a form, one-off game or not. And I know Tottenham beat them, but that was the last team to beat them. And one-off game.
And you never know with Mourinho. He could park the fucking bus, and City could struggle to break them down, and they nick a fucking goal. It could happen. He's done it so many times. And if they do that, and then they go on and win the Euro, they've done the double. Do you know what I mean? And that's a massively successful season for them. Again, it ain't going to fucking happen. They're not going to win anything. But if he did, and Levy, you're probably right. That's probably what's keeping him in the job. The fact that Levy will be banking on that. Yeah. I think if they were to go out of the Europa, obviously they're not in this round because they've pretty much got the tie won already. But if they was to go out in the Europa in like the next round or something, and haven't won the League Cup, then I think it might be fuck him off and get someone in before the end of the next season. But I don't know. And again, the other thing is, to keep them sort of players, they're going to need a fucking good manager and a big name. Because, do you know what I mean? If you ain't, what's keeping these players about?
Oh, look.
Yeah, it's good though, isn't it? Tottenham struggling like that.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, because Mourinho, he said before our game, he'd done an interview and he was saying he's like, "Oh, West Ham are doing well," but I think in essence he said, "But we're going to drop, and Tottenham are going to finish above us," basically. And then we beat them 2-1 at the weekend. He keeps coming out with stupid shit like that. And I think whatever he had, Mourinho, he's definitely lost, and
Yeah.
He's ain't got it. He's past it. I mean, yeah, it's brilliant. It's happening to Spurs. I couldn't wish it on a better fucking team. Bunch of deluded mugs, and they're never going to win nothing. And they're never. It doesn't matter. They could get anyone in. They ain't going to win nothing. Like it's Tottenham. It's just...
I know. We're not exactly flying, but I'd rather Arteta over Mourinho any day at the present moment. But we'll touch on that in a moment. But yeah.
You again. You might laugh. We're only a point behind Tottenham. Look at what they've look at what they've outlaid in that team and that stadium and that. And who would you rather play for, Bielsa or Mourinho?
Yeah, well,
probably Mourinho actually, because you'd have to work a lot less hard, but just have to sit in your own box, didn't you? But yeah, we'll end the discussion on them fucks anyway, because I don't think anyone likes them. I've got no reason to really dislike Tottenham, but I still don't like them. It's weird, isn't it? But I don't know. The next game, Arsenal Man City, which to be fair is a good result, boys. You've only lost 1-0.
After conceding in the 3rd minute, I thought it was going to be a rout.
Yeah, we all did, didn't we? In the WhatsApp group, it was going on. It's going to be a cricket score and that. But Speezy, we'll let you go in first because you was the sole gooner who actually predicted that you'd lose as well.
No, I predicted.
That's how confident you was.
So, I predicted a loss.
What do you reckon, mate?
It just had massive pre-season friendly vibes to it, like that second half. I think City had 3 or 4 different gears they could have flicked through. I mean, we just looked like we were happy just to lose 1-0. I was waiting for Sven to make his 7 substitutions at half time. It was just like proper pre-season friendly. It was terrible. I mean, we had nothing. We didn't threaten at all going forwards. And like I say, they could have clicked through and smashed us if they wanted to. See, I think they were resting themselves for their game tomorrow. Just, yeah, I mean, we'll take that 1-0. I predicted 3, so could always be worse, eh?
Yeah, too right. Dave?
Yeah, not a lot to add. I mean, I predicted a 2-1 win for us. But that was just more hope than anything else. I've just seen it.
What is that noise?
Who's knocking one out?
That Who's having a wank?
That OnlyFans started.
Someone's frantically tapping a button or something.
One of those voices.
It's going again.
Who is it?
There you go.
Gone?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone.
Bit of vibration.
Someone's playing track and field, didn't they?
Denise Lewis heptathlon.
T-shirt.
Yeah, just only because I'd seen us pull out an unexpected win a couple of times in the FA Cup. I was hoping maybe we could have a shock, but nah. It was just, pretty much what everyone expected apart from the scoreline. They still dominated us. They just didn't score 4 or 5 as was expected. It's pretty depressing to come away feeling kind of positive that you've only lost 1-0. But just you have got to appreciate the levels that City are hitting this season compared to everyone else, especially Arsenal. And just coming into the game, I was worried, thinking, oh shit, Gundogan's been on fire. You've got Aguero coming back. You've got De Bruyne coming back. You're thinking, cheers. And then when it starts, I completely even forgot about Mahrez, and he was fucking ripping Tierney to shreds. The poor geezer just come back from injury. He must have just been like, what the fuck's going on here? 2 minutes in, I mean, the annoying thing was the goal. Holding's just gone asleep and left Sterling. To be honest, if we didn't concede then, we would have probably conceded 5 minutes later anyway, because I do feel like they were unstoppable at the beginning and they would have kept going until they got that goal. And then when they got it and realised that we couldn't lay a glove on them, they just settled back into second gear. But that being said, we did try at times, but I do think that the minimal times we made it forward, they defended very well. Like Stones and Diaz are proven to be a real good duo at the back there. And I mean, I was a bit disappointed with Odegaard, if I'm being honest, because I didn't really realise it while I was watching. But when they sort of highlighted some of his contribution after, you see some of the players like people like Xhaka who get accused of passing backwards all the time. You look at the options he had, and he had nothing. No one showing themselves. And Odegaard's the one who's supposed to come forward and offer himself and be brave. He's the baller. He's coming as the Ozil replacement, and he was. I think a few of them were hiding, to be honest. I mean, you can't blame them. They're scared of taking the ball away. We get torn apart. But yeah, I mean, it's disappointing to be so far from that level. But at the same time, at least it wasn't too damaging. Like we can go into the next game and we've not really. Obviously, there was not realistically there weren't 3 points there, but they've got nothing out of a game. But they can go into the next game without too much of a setback. So that's it, really.
Fair play, mate. All right, Dave, I won't worry about being that far off that level, mate. Every fucking team about is, so you're in good company, mate. Matty, we'll come to you and then we'll come over to Greg and Strugger, who've got a few bits to say. So, Matty, what's your thoughts on it, mate?
I don't know. I agree with a lot of the points that Spear and Dave mentioned. You know, they are on another level. So, I predicted that we would get beat. I hated to do that, but I knew it was going to be the case. I don't think anyone's shocked that we lost the game. But same as what Spearsy said, they were in gear 2. They had another 4 gears to find if they wanted. As soon as we've gone 1-0 down after 2 minutes, I'm afraid to say the game was already lost. I mean, how could you think that you have no chance at all of getting back into it? Because that's what I thought it was. They just coasted through the game, really. And like poor Tierney, he's got Kylie Minogue in his head. I'm spinning around because Mahrez tore him a new one in the first fucking 10. I mean, and this is let's get it right. This is a player that doesn't even start every week. That's how good they are. And Tierney's meant to be one of the best fullbacks in the league. He ripped him to shreds. The goal, I was massively disappointed with Rob Holding. I don't think you can blame Bellerin for that. I think it's more of the centre-half's call from where the ball landed. Sterling's 5'7". He's got a free header. Really? Come on. It was poor. And looking at the games moving forward, I don't hold a lot of. We're not going to beat Leicester. We're not good enough. And the reality is now, I think we're not a top 4 club. I don't think we have been for some time, and there's other clubs that are on the up and that are consistently doing better than us, like the Leicesters, like, you know, West Ham are doing very well this season. But I don't know what it's going to take to get us back there. I don't know if it's a move with the board. Rumour has it that there's a Nigerian businessman worth 20 billion, I think Arsenal fan, looking to buy the club. Would that be the worst thing in the world, given that Kroenke is very stubborn to put his own money in the club, and he's got a habit of managing teams that are not doing very well in the level of sport that they're at, but they're doing well financially, business-wise, and making him profit. So maybe a takeover at some point wouldn't be the worst thing, so we can try and get back up the levels that we once were, because you need money to succeed in this game.
This Nigerian billionaire will have about £1 to his name.
No, apparently he's tried to buy the club for quite some time, but it's the same thing when we had Usmanov on the board. He was worth 13.5, 14 billion quid. And those old school English people that are on Arsenal's board that are like 98, I think all fucking 4 of them, they just wouldn't relinquish him any more funds in the club. So he fucked off and reinvested his money in something else. So
Everton, I think.
I mean, yeah. But going back to that, another player that I want to criticise, and I'll openly criticise him, I don't care if he scored a hat-trick against Leeds, is Aubameyang. He didn't do fuck all in that whole game. His hold-up play is fucking shocking. He's played 400 minutes more than Lacazette, and Lacazette scored the same amount of goals as him.
He doesn't even seem to have that yard of pace that he had. Like there was a couple of times where he's sort of running alongside John Stones, and Stones has not only matched him, but then just muscled him off as well.
And he's also, you know, giving him a card out, like an imaginary card because he got barged off the ball. Hang on, mate, you're supposed to be one of the best strikers in the Premier League. You shouldn't have to be doing that. But he looks clueless. Andy Townsend was on TalkSport today. I don't know if any of you saw the interview. And it's made me think, because I've never actually looked at it like this before. what does Aubameyang offer apart from putting the ball in the net? Now, that might sound like a stupid statement, but what is he doing for the rest of the game? His hold-up play is fucking abysmal. His short passing ain't the best. And I don't think he's contributing the way he should be. He's meant to be captain of the football club. He's not. He's never been a captain in a million years.
He makes everyone else's Barnet look better. I'll give him that.
No, but I mean, going back to the Arsenal lads, what do you think about Aubameyang and how you think it should pan out moving forward with him? I think he should be stripped of the captaincy. I don't think he's a captain.
Well, Dave, we'll go to you. Your response to Matty as well, because you got something else to say as well, and then we'll come to Greg and Strug after. But what's your response to what
I was going to say, going firstly back to what it
right, someone's that wanking noise is happening again.
It might be this table rattling, you know.
Dave, it's you, mate.
It's a rattling table.
It's the secret one.
Here's Jody.
just pops their heads up. Hi, boys.
Yeah, no, so to move the club forward, I think it's basically going to take a shitload of money, and it's going to probably take a new owner, because these Cronkies, they're just the typical, like we've said before, American investors that they don't really care about football. That they're more interested in the baseball and football teams they own. There was recently a stat that showed you how much each owner had personally put into each club.
He put fuck all in.
£0.
£0, the geezer. Zero.
Literally not a penny of his own money was put in.
Really?
Yeah.
Worse than that, he's took like, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but
No, that's right.
like a loan out of the club or something. It's just fucked. Like he's got no
That's
intention.
dreadful.
He's got no intention of laying.
Shit, that's why he just wants.
Look at what we had to do. We're supposed to be. I know we've been off the pace for ages, but historically we're one of the biggest clubs in England, and we've got to like sell people like Martinez and stuff like this to scratch together a few quid to buy Partey. It's bollocks. Like they shouldn't be.
He's been a great signing. He has, and he's fucking injured every week.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think we need an owner like that who's passionate, who wants to, who's like going to support the club as well as back it. I do think Arteta's the right guy. I think he's just struggling in the setup he's in.
But yeah, in my opinion, he's the right guy. But we haven't got Man City's players.
Exactly.
You can't play like Man City if you ain't got the level of player. Them players cannot do what he wants them to do, and unfortunately for him, he might become a victim of that and end up getting the sack, because we've lost 11 league games and there's going to be at least 4 or 5 more by the time the season's done.
And that's what worries me about the modern football, because I don't want to see him go. I think he's got a lot more to give, Arteta. I really do. With regards to Aubameyang, I mean, I can't argue against what you're saying. He is not, even if he's banging in goal after goal like he was last year, he's still not any way, shape or form a captain. He's got no leadership qualities. I mean, the leadership quality as in, oh, what a great goal, you've just got us out of that one. That's good, but it's not a captain. For me, Tierney's more of a captain than he is. When we was in that proper shithole earlier in the season, the people who showed bottle and stood up was Tierney and Saka. They're the ones who showed the real bottle. And if you're looking for someone to drag you out of a hole, they were the two who showed they've got. Yeah. I'm not saying make Saka the captain, but you know what I mean. That was But Aubameyang was sulking and
strong. You've got to have someone who's a presence.
Going to set me up with a chance.
Yeah.
Well, but before we venture into becoming Arsenal Fan TV, we'll go over to Greg. What was your sort of thoughts from an outsider, mate?
Just a few things really, like from what they've just said as well. But like you've done really well to keep it. I didn't think that Leno had a lot of trouble from the rest of the game once you conceded the goal anyway. I thought you'd done all right to keep it down, obviously, but without actually offering a lot. You lot didn't offer a lot going forward at all. But going to your points, like Arteta's your man. He is, if he's allowed, if you enable him to, as you say, let him take you forward. But it's having the people give the money and getting some players in that can really take him forward. But Odegaard, as you say, he wasn't great. I think they probably might have been better off playing Smith Rowe. I think he obviously chose, it was a choice between both of them. And I would actually go as far as to say he's shown more faith in Smith Rowe this year than any other, and he probably picked Odegaard over him because of where he's come from and his perception of obviously this last 2 weeks since he's come in, or 3 weeks, whatever it is. I don't know why he picked him over Smith Rowe, but
I think he had one eye on the Benfica game, on trying to save a couple of people for that, in my opinion.
potentially, yeah.
Smith Rowe's a legend, mate. He's a Leeds legend, old Smith Rowe. Got us promoted. What a boy.
I think the team does look more fluent when Smith Rowe starts.
Yeah.
But for me, Arteta's got to bring Lacazette back in and play him in the middle and play Aubameyang out wide, because I think the combination of him out wide, Lacazette in the middle, Saka, and then either Smith Rowe or Odegaard behind works better.
Because plays so much better.
It's also a big game to bring Odegaard in.
Yeah.
When he's so new to the club, so he doesn't know exactly how everyone plays. I know he's been training for maybe 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, but
he played well against Benfica in the week.
Yeah, but at the start, it's kind of like you're running a wave, isn't you? And then against Man City, you can't carry that wave on. You've got to know how people play and whatnot. And he probably suffered from that. And obviously, it's probably one of the hardest games to start. Yeah. Anyway, but the next point you made, like Aubameyang, he is your out and out goal scorer. But again, he hasn't. I personally don't think he's been the same since last year.
No, he hasn't. Not even close.
There's something gone. He had the X factor last year. He would still score goals, like bang. And then this year, it's like
he's aged in 3 months. It's like
it's like they've come really. They're really coming hard, like to come by now. His goals and that, like
he was playing for a contract, mate. That's what that was.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is it.
If that is the case, then that's fucking disgraceful. If it is, that's
but like again, Pogba does it every year.
Matty Boyle, like you said, he's never a captain either.
No, not in a million years.
He doesn't strike you as a captain. He's never has been. But who is in your team though? Who is? I'll put that to you. Who is? Because you tried Xhaka.
Either Tierney, who Dave mentioned, or Leno.
Tierney's shown the most.
Tierney, Leno, or David Luiz for me, if Luiz is playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're saying someone that you probably actually really want to get rid of should be your captain.
Just to chip in, boys. Fucking Chelsea are 1-0 up against Atletico Madrid.
Bad Ben, ain't it?
And it's Giroud with an overhead kick. I'm not having that.
Good goal and all, to be fair.
Yeah.
I wish we'd have kept it a bit offside.
You should have kept.
No, it come off the Atletico defender. That's why they've let it go, I think.
Yeah. So going back to what Greg said, yeah, obviously it's got to be Leno or Tierney. Then really, that's the only two that I could think would be worthy of it. But I don't know what the other lads think. But I just think we're going backwards rather than forwards. And I don't know if Arteta is going to be given the time that he needs to turn it around.
I think he needs serious money. Serious money.
He needs about 350, 400 million to turn that team around.
But like we mentioned with Liverpool and Tottenham, if you're not in European competition, you're going to have to aim a bit lower in your expectations of signings as well, because you're not
exactly.
You're going to have to sort of do what we're doing in regards to Rafinha and sign someone who's unknown and hasn't really done it at that top level and hope that they can make that step.
But the players have got to take a lot of the blame for this. If you look at Arsenal's first 11 on paper, that really shouldn't be that's no disrespect to the other teams. That shouldn't be a mid-table Premier League team. That's six pushing for the top four.
Yeah,
but
on paper.
What player out there do you know that takes it? It's always the manager that gets it.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
And that's why the players take their foot off the gas.
They know they're safe. Where the manager is the last.
Going back to Unai Emery, I mean, his record actually wasn't that bad.
No,
better than Arteta's.
So work that out.
Well, look, we're sort of going down a dead end. So Struggers, we'll come to you with one last sort of point on Arsenal, and then we'll move on to the next fixture.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just go back to the game when you went 1-0 down so early. I mean, it is a terrible goal to concede. I mean, you shouldn't be letting Sterling out jump the centre half there. But regardless, that could have gone. When I saw you go 1-0 down that early, I thought, here we go. It's going to be 5 or 6. So, from my point of view, I thought Arsenal done all right, to be fair. And it must be hard, whoever you are, playing a team like that, to not sort of mentality to go toward damage limitation, really. You think you go one down that early, you think, fuck, it's going to be a tough afternoon. And I think you've done all right to keep it 1-0. And I think there ain't many teams in the world that are going to come away with much more than that this season. And Man City are just getting better and better. It took them a bit of time to warm up this season, but they look unstoppable at the moment. I don't see who's going to stop them. Can't see anyone beating them in the Premier League at the moment. And I don't even see anyone beating them in the Champions League either.
Did anyone clock the strength of their bench?
Yeah.
Like looking at their bench. I mean, they've got £300 million bench probably and more. I mean, it's crazy.
I just wanted to say as well, like I get what you boys are saying about Arsenal. You see them every week, but I wouldn't want to judge anyone on a game against Man City.
Yeah.
It's
like the outlier, aren't they, City?
We've got them next weekend, and we drew with them 1-0 earlier in the season. But like I said, they were warming up then. They're a different team now than they were earlier in the season. If we can, to be honest, if we come away losing 1-0, I'll probably take that at the moment, rather than getting spanked.
I think every club will look at Man City as a free hit. Like anything's a bonus.
Yeah.
Like they are frightening, mate. Like we spoke about their level of like the form that they're in. What was it, 24 games now? And they've won 21 of them.
Something like that.
And 18 on the bounce or something. That is ridiculous form.
The only thing is, it's like what you're saying, Matty, about Europe. They just seem to always, even though previous years they've been on bang on fire at home, like in the Prem and that, and then they still go away and don't get a result. Like, don't know what it is about the champs. Maybe this is their year. You just never know. But for some reason, that is just eluding them.
Favourites for the Champions League. They have to be.
I think they win it this year.
Yeah.
Who's better than them in Europe at the moment?
Nobody.
Yeah, but Greg said, we've said that before.
We have said that before.
Not we've said it on here, but everyone spoke about it before. A couple of years ago, you was like, no one's touching them. Look at them play. But like they say, like Greg, they just can't do it. They're very Spursy. They just can't get there.
Spursy.
No one's ever said Spurs are going to win the Champions League, though, mate.
Even when they're in the final.
The final, no one was saying they're going to win.
Right, we'll draw a line under that one anyway, boys, and we'll move on to the scum. I don't really want to talk about it, but yeah, Jonesy, over to you, mate. You beat Newcastle 3-1. Well fucking done.
No doubt, some of you pricks are going to moan about Bruno again. So, but we
call it every week. The cunt gets a Fernandes, doesn't he? He loves
more about Rashford's dive, to be perfectly honest. But
grow up, Greg. He learned from Mo, didn't he? He learned from Mo Salah.
Watch that back in a slow mo. He don't even touch him.
You can donate as much money as you want to fucking starving children, mate. You throw yourself on the deck like that, you're dead to me.
Listen, Joe Willock, you can tell by the defence reaction when they know if they know they fucked up, because he has with VAR there. He could have, if he knew he fucked up, he would have gone, boom, ref, go and look at that. I've not touched him, but he didn't. He got up. He knows he touched him.
Anyway, the ref was going to give it no matter what. That's why.
Listen, at the end of the day, listen. Like a lot of us predicted that United were going to win. I mean, everyone's beating Newcastle. I'm not overly overjoyed by beating Newcastle, but again, it was just a typical. I'm glad we got the 3 points, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But it was another frustrating, unconvincing win. To be fair, like I've said it before, we're not playing well, but we're picking up. We've been picking up points to make a second, but it's just not good. Martial, I mean, every week he's just showing more and more out that he's not a number 9 for me.
On Martial, Kyle, before you sort of carry on, I've never, ever seen what people seem to go mad about this guy for. Like, you signed him for quite big money. And even at the time, I remember when he first come over, he had that good performance against Liverpool. He scored a really good goal early on in his Man United career. But
debut, isn't it?
I've never, he's always failed to impress me. I've never seen anything about him where I'm like, yeah, I see what they've spent that money on.
He's a cross-on nanny. That is what he's like. He's just.
Sorry, he's a croissant nanny. Can you explain that?
He's a French nanny. On his day, you look at me and think, "Fuck me, you are unbelievable," but it's not enough. And on another day, you think, "Mate, you're absolute crust," but it's just not. Yeah, his form is honestly. I've said it before. It's lower than a worm's tit. It's finished. It's fucked. I don't know what. He's like quickly turning into a squad player. I see.
Oh, he's got the same fucking hairline.
I say.
Oh, Anthony Marshall, I say, Anthony.
We just don't look good. I don't like Lindelof at the back. His career's.
You won though, right?
Coming to an end. Yeah, every week I'm not happy. Everyone's beating Newcastle, man. Everyone's fucking beating them.
You've won every week since you've been on here, and you're still.
Yes, but do you know why I think I'm angry? Because as much as I'm over it,
you're hungry.
At points this season, there's been times this season I've genuinely believed we're going to win the fucking title. So it's fucking.
You silly cunt.
I know. So it kills me when we're fucking I see us falling away a bit. Like, and we're not falling away. Well, as much as we are, because we're just getting the gap between us and City is huge. But we're the best of the rest. So it is hard. It is hard.
Jonesy, have a Snickers. You're not yourself when you're hungry, mate.
I had an early dinner. It always kills me. It's turning into a late night early dinner.
He genuinely looks stressed and upset and pissed off, and his team is second in the league. I just can't understand.
Did you watch? Do you know what? Did you watch the game?
Mate, we're mid-table. I don't give a fuck about it.
You were shitting it, to be fair.
It was such a shit performance. I'm fed up of watching shit football, clueless football. If it doesn't go through Bruno, it doesn't work. If he doesn't play well, it doesn't work. The whole system just falls on its arse.
So basically, if you don't get a penalty, it don't work.
No, because penalties are part of the game. Someone's got to score them. Does it matter? Someone's got to score a penalty. So
yeah, not every team gets one every game.
We didn't get one against Everton.
Season.
My problem. Blame VAR. Blame the refs. It's not my fault your players don't know how to dive.
Greg, go on, mate.
I was just going to say, like, obviously we touched on it already. Like, Rashford's dived, right? 100% he's dived. You've got a penalty. Fair enough. No, don't know me. He dived. But also,
from a fucking Liverpool fan, he's taking a piss, and he's taking the piss out of me.
You also got away with one, though. You got away with one in your. Maguire has elbowed Lascelles.
Oh, that elbow, yeah, that was terrible.
People's elbow.
It's actually off the ball. He's watching De Gea's watching the ball, right? And Maguire has seen that, and Lascelles coming in. Yeah, and he's just literally put his arm out to stop.
He turns around and has a look as well, doesn't he? He has a look for him.
Yeah, and it's like, how VAR not?
How does he get away with
how VAR not picking up on that?
Man United player.
It might not have changed
Old Trafford, Greg.
Yeah, well, it's Old Trafford, of course it is. Maybe Fergie was at St George's Park.
Is he not dead yet?
That's not nice. you make Carl cry.
It's all gone downhill this episode, isn't it?
He's my fucking hero.
But this is it.
It's not a dive, Greg. It's a soft penalty. It's not a dive.
No, I watched it back again today. He's dived.
Carl, he's a dive, mate.
Willock would, but what? No, it can't be. Willock would have said to him, "Ref, I've not touched him." Why is Willock's just got up and gone, "Shit"?
Because he knows it's Man United. He could have
because it's a slight touch. Doesn't matter who you are, or what you've achieved. VAR takes and gives. It gives from the biggest, from the lowest. It takes and gives. If he hadn't touched him, they would have rescinded. They would have said, "No, have a look at the screen."
When did it go against you then? When was that?
When that final whistle went against Brighton, it done them out of a point, and it ended up giving them 2 more. Do you remember? Even after the final whistle, it'll come back on. We've got a penalty to take.
Listen, there's been a few times. Albeit, listen.
How much are you getting paid for this, Carl? Sticking up for VAR, it's give and take. Bollocks, you get way more than anyone else does.
He's on Mike Dean's payroll, mate.
Do you know what? Tell maybe one time, get the old fucking stats up about who's got the most VAR decisions. I bet Liverpool are up there and all.
Well, you say that. I've actually got them here. Leicester are on 8 penalties awarded by VAR. You're on 7. So you're second.
Hold on a minute. No, but it'd be interesting to see. Like,
furious, he's not top.
Yeah, absolutely. Pissed off to be second in everything.
Oh, we're Liverpool.
Liverpool
I reckon points
6.
gained. No, but not on penalties. I reckon points gained by VAR decision or points won.
Well, you're up top
for
obviously.
a VAR. I bet Liverpool are fucking well up there. I'm telling you. Last year they got everything.
We're not talking about last year. What's the matter with you?
You keep mentioning champions. That was last year. You certainly ain't going to be it this year, are you? Listen, I'm just talking about it. Points overall since VAR was in. VAR started last season, so we're talking about VAR. We're just talking about VAR in general, not a certain season. People get them. It's it's just what it is. That's what it's there for.
Mate, seriously, you defy all the odds, mate. Your team's second, and you're ranting like you're bottom of the league. It's unreal, mate. You need I
know, but you do play shit football though. I don't know how you're second.
Thank you. That's my problem. It'd be nice to be like a team like City where you can boss a game and play nice football. I know we all want to do, but I watch other teams. I watch West Ham, sometimes Spurs. You watch fucking even Leeds sometimes, and you think they play. But there's an idea. You play with an idea. Like we just look like we fucking freestyle the whole game and see what freestyle the whole game. Hopefully Bruno gets something.
Penalty.
Whatever you're doing is working. So
no, I don't think it works in a normal season. I really don't. I think this is a fucked up season
now, and we're dealing with the here and now, and it's working. So I don't know how you can't be happy with it, to be honest.
Because I feel it's more luck than anything where we are. That's what it is. I don't think we're
everyone else being shit.
We're 20.
I think we're just lucky.
25 games in. It can't be luck every week, can it, Kyle?
Mate, they've had luck for 25 years, let alone fucking 25 games.
No, I don't know. Listen, I'm happy because we're second. But I'm not happy overall.
You look happy. Fucking
well,
hell.
Let's draw a line under that because I can't deal with these fucking scummers. We'll go with the biggest derby in Premier League history.
So nasty.
Look at that smile, look.
We'll move on, Pat, to the biggest derby in Premier League history. We said differently on the last episode, but you weren't on that, so it doesn't matter.
I'll listen to it though, don't worry.
Sorry, Pat.
M23 derby.
Before we go into this,
I had all your predictions as well. So
before we say about this whole derby thing, Palace sent this fucking bitchy tweet out from the official club after the game saying, to everyone who says it's a derby, it's not a derby, it's a rivalry. And then they put this like the definition of rivalry and then all of this. And then the first comment was brilliant. The geezer killed him and he went, how comes all this week you've been talking about the derby? And he screenshotted like 8 tweets from the Palace account. Like, derby day coming up this weekend and all this shit. So what's going on? But yeah, anyway, you beat the mighty Brighton 2-1, Pat, which was magnificent win, to be fair. We all writ you off. You stuck by your boys, but deep down, I don't think you fancied it. I think it was heart over head. But Hakuna Matata and Christian Benteke. What's your thoughts, mate? What a win.
I mean, it's a strange one, isn't it? Like, I feel like Kyle, like, all I want to do is, we won, but all I want to do is fucking moan. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously take the win. And in a way, it's like, it's kind of sweet winning when you don't fucking deserve to win. Like, we deserved nothing out of that game. How we've got 2 goals when we've had 2 touches in their box is an absolute joke. But
that's class finishing, if you ask me.
Huh?
It's class finishing, if you ask me. 2.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, exactly. From 2 world-class strikers, obviously.
You were moaning about your strikers, and I said you got Benteke, so come on,
mate. But no, I mean, we were piss poor. It was just a typical Roy Hodgson setup. Don't get beat, and I think even Gary Cahill came out after the game and said,
"Where's Rafa?
They're tired of shipping in goals constantly, and they just set out not to concede. I mean, they didn't even manage that in the end. But, you know, if Brighton had a decent striker like Benteke or something, they would have had 5 or 6 goals. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it was poor. Like, few positives from it. Obviously,
shut that fucking dog up.
Oh mate. Two quality finishes. Jared Cahill looked like he was sort of back to a defender. He's fucking been wedding.
Someone's got hiccups.
It's a Brighton fan.
Yeah, 2 decent finishes. Cahill looking like sort of back to something you would sort of recognise when he was in his Chelsea days. And then obviously getting a win without Zaha as well, which is like sort of fucking rare for us.
The dog is absolutely killing me here, by the way.
Brilliant. Fucking hell.
More entertaining than the game, anyway.
Oh dear, mate. Yeah, I ain't got much to say.
We'll let you mute yourself, Pat, while we pass it over to the boys to have a chat while you can like smother the dog or something. Strug, what's your thoughts on it, mate?
I mean, if you're not gonna beat your rivals 6-0, I think proper shithousing a win like that is the best way to do it. Because if you're a Brighton fan, you're gonna be fucking gutted about that, aren't you? Absolutely battered them, and Palace have had two chances and scored them both, one right at the fucking end. But is Pat still there? Or is he gone?
He's gone to kill the dog, I think.
I've got a really important question. Really important question to ask him.
What peanut butter do you use to shut the dog up?
Get the Nutella.
Go to Greg first, and I'll ask Pat.
Go on, Greg. What was you going to say, mate?
Yeah, no, I was just like sort of going to say what Strug sort of said, mate. To be honest, like, what a way to win it after literally being so shit. Like, I think I listened to it, the last bit of commentary, and over the 2 games this season, Brighton have had 44 shots or something against Palace, and Palace only had like 3 or 4. Literally, like
Brighton have had 40 odd shots against just the Palace games.
In the 2 games, they had 44 shots or something like that, and somehow Palace have come out on top. Did they win the last one? Did Palace win the last one?
I don't know, actually.
They drew with them.
But yeah, like again, I weren't really. I heard that and I was like,
it was 1-1.
1-1. So 44 shots in 2 games, and yet they've only scored 2 goals. And Palace have only had like 3 or 4 shots, and they've got 3 goals. Or like, it's unreal. But like, the goal was class. Obviously, Acuna's back heel was unreal.
Well, we was on the blower at the time, Greg, weren't we? And it was like, what the fuck's just happened?
I know, literally. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, oh my days, he's done a Carnu, like literally. And to nutmeg the keeper is obviously beautiful as well. Like,
was it a double nutmeg, or did he just make the keeper?
Nah, I don't think
it was a double.
Oh, I don't know if it went through Ben White's legs, but definitely through the keeper's.
Some goal though, to be fair.
But yeah, like it's one of them, innit? Once you pull that off, like you get that flick goalwards, the keeper's pretty much got no chance.
I'm still not convinced he's meant it, because from the first touches I've seen from him over the last couple of weeks, I'm convinced he's tried killing that.
Well, he set you up, like he set your goal
exactly,
up, didn't he?
He was our best player when we played Palace.
But yeah, no, and again, Benteke's. It was a funny one as well, because I think Townsend's cross was actually shit.
Yeah.
Like it's a hopeful ball to the back post, and it's just cleared everyone. And Benteke's there, and I mean Benteke of old, he was class, wasn't he? Like back in the day and that. But
when
now,
he was at Villa, lethal.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I'm saying. Like you wouldn't have put it past him back in them days, but nowadays you're thinking he's spooning this, he's spooning it, or Rose Ed coming up, and he's just put it in the bottom corner. And you see Graham Potter, it went straight to him, didn't it, on the camera? And it's just like, oh my days, like. And then old fucking turkey necks going fucking, yeah. It's like fucking old Roy the boy.
You know what? With Roy, I can't look at him anymore. You know that meme and the gif, we've all seen it, where he's sitting there and he gets all excited, and then something obviously goes wrong, and he does the old despondent look down. Every time I see, I just picture that gif, and it ruins me. Like, I just can't take him seriously.
That
oh,
gif,
here he comes. Sunpat's back.
Amazing.
Struckers, back to you, because you obviously had a question for Pat.
Yeah, we were just talking about how good it must be beating your bitter rivals. It's a weird one, though, isn't it? What can you explain to us why they're your rivals?
No,
is
it because you're the Eagles and they're Seagulls?
Ain't it something to do with Alan Mullery? It's something to do with the Tottenham player.
Yeah, it's it all started between Alan Mullery and Terry Venables.
It's to do with two Tottenham guys.
Well, yeah, but yeah, when Venables was managing us, I think they had
Soccer Saturday
like,
panel, isn't it?
Hey?
It's all Phil Thompson's fault.
Rodney Marsh.
Yeah, it's like to do with them back in like the 70s or whatever it was. And then it's just one of them that's grown over time. I think it like obviously we haven't got any like proper sort of local rivals like Millwall, Cheltenham, but you know, with us and Brighton, we've always been in and around the same divisions, so it's sort of just grown over the years, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dreadful.
Yeah.
Got to be closer to Chelsea than anyone, isn't you?
Weird, isn't it?
Got to be quite
really
close.
Weird.
You're quite close to Fulham, like, and Chelsea. Let's face it.
Yeah,
It's not a million miles away, is it?
But the M23 takes you into Brighton, which joins the A23 then takes you to Palace. So it's all.
They can't even pick a fucking road.
No. Well, the A23, M25, M3, A23, M23 Derby. It's that fucking from all in.
Shouldn't Brighton be rivals with like Crawley or something?
Right.
I suppose so, yeah. But
And you should be in all. They're both nearer to Crawley than you are each other.
You can all meet
up
in Gatwick and have a big fight, couldn't you?
Just before a trip to Benidorm.
Yeah. That's the closest they get to Europe.
Kyle's on his way.
Run into the airport.
I do feel sorry for you, mate. You've got your first win since we've been doing the podcast, and you had to go and see to the dog.
Yeah, the dog's fucked it.
Palace discussion.
You fucked it.
But yeah, no. I mean,
Before we like finish it off though, Pat, do you think that win does enough to keep you up?
Yeah, I don't think we would have gone down anyway. But yeah, I think that pretty much guarantees it.
Because you're going to get more points somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we probably won't pick up too many more, but you know, we've got West Brom, I think we've got Fulham, then Tottenham, then West Brom. So you can get like 6 out of that. Then you're laughing. Do you know what I mean? Like, sort of, I suppose it's now between Fulham, Newcastle, and Brighton.
Yeah.
For that last relegation place, isn't it? Really.
I still think about 35, 36 points to keep you up this season. I think you'll need a lot less than you usually would. And you're on 32 now, so I think like chances are you're going to be all right. But
yeah, that's it exactly. Especially as we've got a few of the lower teams still to play.
But like you said, look, Brighton have only lost 1 out of 6, and they're only 4 points from relegation.
Yeah,
they could be in shit. But
I think I read somewhere today that they've only won twice at the Amex since 2020. It's like that's poor home form, isn't it? And it's sort of, you know, you need decent home form to stay up, isn't it?
Oh, your boy's piped up again. You fucking didn't put enough sunpat on it this time, Pat. I'll let you sort of go and top back up with your peanut butter, but and we'll call it a night there, boys. We've got another recording that this will be going out tomorrow. And then tomorrow we're actually doing an interview with Gareth Graham, ex-footballer, and then that'll be released the following day. And then we'll do another recording like we normally do, boys, with the predictions and the baller of the week, donkey of the week before the weekend. But yeah, top draw, lads. That was good. I thoroughly enjoyed myself seeing away some Guinnesses and some G&Ts celebrating the Leeds win. And yeah, head over to our YouTube channel, Only Football Fans. Like and subscribe. and over to Twitter and Instagram at only_footy_fans. And yeah, we'll see you next time, boys. Until then, all the best.